style of play football. Not really a debate show today, but you know, as things go, we had to jump on the news. The news is out there yesterday. For anyone that doesn't know, Thomas Tuchel now appointed England manager for I think it's 18 months. I haven't even read the article fully yet, so 18-month deal, I think. Before we get into all of that, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. You give your thoughts in the comments as well. If you're here live, again, make sure you get involved in the live stream. Got Kojo, got Basil with me. Basil, what you saying first of all? It's been a while, man. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while, man.
I know, man.
You've been hibernating. Arsenal doing well. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this happens when the international break comes at the time it does. I feel like it comes like every 3 weeks. I mean, it's just so disruptive to kind of just my enjoyment of football. So yeah, been hibernating since.
Yeah, it's good to see you back, man. Good to see you back. Kojo, what you saying? All good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Repping United today?
Let's find a shirt, man.
Yeah.
That's what's been doing rich trips. I know this guy. So team off. That's what you've been doing, man. Yeah, all good.
Good to hear, man. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, as always. I feel like a bit of a hypocrite today, though. I can't lie, because we did speak about Thomas Tuchel on the last episode, yeah, and I did say, so I'm putting this out there now because I know people are going to come for me at some point, a couple of people in the comments or whatever, but I did say that I think you should always be a person of that managing a national coach. You always expect it to be someone from that nation that manages them. The problem is with this situation, there ain't no decent English managers out there. That's my personal opinion. I'm going to throw it out there to both of you now. I'm going to go to Basil first. What do you think? Is it right that, because I'm seeing a lot of things in the press already about Tuchel, the German coach, he's only got 18 months to turn fans around and all this. He hasn't even had a training session yet. And they're already slating him in the paper. But what do you think, Basil, in terms of the appointment of Thomas Tuchel? Is it a good one? Is it one that shouldn't have been made?
I mean, first I'll start. People are hypocrites because if it was Pep saying he was going for England, we wouldn't hear any of these. So it's funny if you have an issue with Tuchel, just say it's a Tuchel issue. But the people are going on like, oh, why are we going for a foreign manager? We need an English manager. Whereas a lot of people who are saying this were batting for Pep Guardiola to be England manager. So I'm like, you can't have it both ways and be hypocritical in that sense, saying, oh, Pep will be a great appointment, and then when it's Tuchel, then go on the whole, oh, why are we going for a foreign manager take? It's quite ridiculous. I'm not the biggest fan of Tuchel personally. I think he's a good coach. But I don't think he's as good as what people say he is on a personal. And I've always maintained this. I've been very consistent. People can check my old tweets. I haven't always rated him that highly and it's funny because he has. But I do give this. I'll say this about Tuchel. One thing I will say about him is that he has developed and he has grown as years have gone by, because my criticism of him when he was at Dortmund and at PSG was very attacking, neglected the defense. So there was a lack of balance, especially at Dortmund. If you watch his Dortmund side, very good on the eye, but defensively just were all over the place. And it was kind of the same at PSG. It was kind of, you saw the attacking phases, defensively wasn't great. And I saw a different Tuchel when he came to Chelsea, one that was very organized, one that could actually shape a defense. And you kind of saw that also in his tenure at Bayern too. The organization was there. So I look at it and I say, you know, credit to him. He's kind of refined his game a bit and maybe gone far the other way in terms of at the cost of the attacking play. We've seen him a lot more defensive. So like I said, I think he's done well. I don't think he's as good as what people make him out to be, because people make him out to be like one of these top elite managers. I don't think he's up there. I think he's a good manager. He's achieved quite a lot. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I think it's a good appointment. Like I said, I've never really been, when it comes to international football, I've never really been fussed as to who you appoint, because international football is a very different ball game than club football.
Yeah,
club football is easier to assess because the managers are in there day in, day out. You kind of understand their style. You kind of understand their personality, their profile. You kind of see how they work with players week in, week out, what type of players they kind of like working with. So you can kind of make a better assumption at club football. International football, you're with these guys for literally about, 8 days every 4 or 5 weeks, if that. You don't really get time to spend time with players, to improve players, adapt players. Like I said, you're basically planning without without players, basically. And also, what you get is what you have to deal with. So there's no whole thing of I can bring someone from the youth, I can get rid of players, I can go and buy players who fit my profile. So it's hard. I've never been fast. I'm like, you know what, appoint someone and we'll see how it goes, and you can make an assessment after a few months. So I don't understand how people are already judging Tuchel and saying it's not the right appointment when he hasn't done anything. Personally, I probably would have kept Lee Carsley, because I thought he was doing well. I thought he was giving players opportunity. I felt like the players were starting to understand a different style of football, which was actually suiting the players, because you kind of saw people like Grealish starting to thrive, Palmer playing well, Gomez starting to play well. And I think what Carsley did is he created this inclusivity within England, where it felt like everyone felt they're going to be given an opportunity and everyone felt they can contribute. Whereas with Southgate and previous managers, you kind of had your 11 or 12, and other players realised, you know, I'm not really getting a look in. Whereas when you look at the players he was playing, it felt like everyone felt like, you know, I can contribute, I can be part of this England team, even if I'm not starting week in, week out. So plus, I would have kept Carsley and seen how things were going, giving him at least a tournament to at least see where he's at and then make a decision, rather than kind of going for Tuchel. But I'm not too fussed about the appointment. I think it could be a good appointment, or it may not be a good appointment, because I don't know how he would adapt to international football. But I'm indifferent personally.
It's interesting because I know Lee Carsley kind of came out after the Finland game and he said he's not ready for the job yet. I think that's.
But I think that comes from the fact that he knew they were appointing someone else.
Yeah, of course he would have
been. I think because obviously when someone is that blunt, I think he's already had the message that, you know what, we're bringing in Tuchel. You're going.
Yeah, literally that. But I think that's a good thing from Lee Carsley, because I think he knows he ain't ready yet. That goes back to my point that I tweeted out earlier, that there ain't no English manager ready to take that job on right now. You could say Eddie Howe, he's not ready yet. Graham Potter, he ain't ready yet. Lee Carsley,
exactly.
He ain't ready yet.
And even going to what you're saying here is like, well, I saw Harry Redknapp doing an interview. Should have been English. I saw Danny Mills. But then the thing's like, well, if you look at the national team, if you look at the English candidates, what have they, even the ones which are there, what have they actually achieved?
Nothing.
Because none of them are fit to lace Tuchel's boots when you look at Tuchel's achievements. So then you're saying it shouldn't be a Tuchel, it should be an English guy. But tell me what trophies.
Which one?
Exactly what trophies any of these England managers have actually won?
Nothing.
And the answer is zero.
Zilch.
So what are they on about?
Zilch. Kojo, I'm going to bring you in because I can see you nodding in agreement with us for once. It makes a change. International break has brought us together for a change. But
imagine, we're all unified for once, rather than fighting each other.
What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts on Tuchel? And should they've gone down the road of the FA, gone down the road of bringing in a Graham Potter, Eddie Howe, Lee Carsley?
No, they shouldn't have. Look, Lee Carsley was probably the closest to getting an opportunity to manage, and then they had a disaster against Greece, and that took away all chances that he had, because he put them in panic mode. We spoke about that game. We spoke about the lineup, the weird choice of not picking a striker, despite you having a striker out and taking two other strikers with you, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think that went against him, and obviously losing the game to top it up as well wasn't a good debut for him. But the abuse that they're giving Tuchel already is out of this world, man. It's ridiculous. You're talking about someone who has gone and won league titles. You can talk about, you know, he managed PSG and Bayern Munich. Well, they were the favourites and they won it, so they won it. Other people have gone there and they've not won it. No names.
We know who you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. And then, you know, and more than anything as well, even though he's won league titles, he's kind of had a reputation for being a cup manager. But that's because PSG, he won the French Super Cup and the French Cup. With Bayern Munich, not Bayern, it was Dortmund, he won the German Cup. With Chelsea, he won the Club World Cup and the Champions League, because you don't go to that to know about winning the Champions League. So you're talking about someone who has pedigree.
Pedro, quickly, just add what you're saying, because there was a comment that annoyed me. I think it came from Danny Mills, or was it Dean Ashton, where they said, "Oh yeah, he won the Champions League, but Lampard got them out the group stages."
No, I'm not having that.
I wanted to bang my head. I wanted to bang my head when I heard him say that.
I'm not having that.
Wait, is that legitimate? Wait, hold on, what?
I know, so, I haven't got that far into it.
He said it was on Sky Sports.
I think it's Dean Ashton. That's why I locked it off, because I knew he was building up to some madness. He was going to build up to a madness. I could see it, and I thought he's going to say something stupid here.
because because Lampard got out of the group stages, all the knockouts that Tuchel did meant nothing.
But
That's basically what we're saying.
even Lampard, I'm surprised people haven't mentioned his name. But remember, this is the same guy that struggled at Chelsea. Let's be honest. He had even the transfer ban season. He still struggled. He struggled at Everton. Do you know what I mean? You can't put his name in a conversation with Tuchel at the top for an England job. Yeah, they're not ready. No England manager is ready to take that. The English manager is ready to take that England job on yet.
You got people that have accolades that are willing to take the job, and you've got a guy who's actually won things.
Can you imagine going
every club he's been at?
Imagine going 1v1 with Tuchel in honours.
You're not even close.
You can't step to the
You're not
table.
even close.
Exactly.
Come on.
When you put Danny Mills on what's it called, on BBC, and they give the little synopsis, just be former Man City player. There's not gonna be no accolade there. You didn't win anything. Dean Ashton played for West Ham and Norwich. You weren't that guy.
How many England caps he got? 1, 2.
You know what I mean?
One.
And then
One.
You talk about the candidates that you're bringing up.
Come on, what's going on?
Potter promotion.
He wouldn't want it. Do you know why he wouldn't take that job on? 2 things. I think we're still paying him. I think we're still paying him his money.
Yeah, definitely still paying him.
And he would want,
he's on that Moyes contract.
but he would want the same sort of level of wages that he was getting at Chelsea. He wouldn't get that with England. He wouldn't get it. He's probably become accustomed to the niceness. Do you know what I mean? The rollies and everything.
Let me just be quite blunt. Yeah, there is absolute nonsense going on in this country. I was reading when Pep was linked. I forgot the guy's name for their flake.
Sam Wallace.
No, not him.
Not him.
His name.
Okay.
It was someone else. I was talking about if you bring in Pep, it's turning international football into club football, about buying players and stuff. Now, what are you waffling about? No. You got 2 names of people who have won countless things, and your response is to complain because he wasn't born in Buckinghamshire. Are you kidding me?
It's mad.
Like, let's be real here. The guy that did the interview, I think Jack Pitt-Brook. Oh no, it wasn't him. Someone else said it must be English from the manager to the tea lady. Why?
Do you know what? If there was an English manager that was on the same level as Tuchel and he was overlooked, regardless of anything else, yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, I see the argument for that a little bit. I'd see the argument. But when you put up the CV of Graham Potter and the CV of Thomas Tuchel or Pep, and you do that with Lampard, or Eddie Howe, because Eddie Howe, I get the sort of, oh yeah, we got to give it to him. But what's he done? The man struggled with Newcastle in the Champions League. So what?
And that's the thing, and that's even when they said Eddie Howe, I'm like, he has struggled at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Even though they finished, was it 4th? They finished. People realized that it was a struggle to finish 4th because the only reason why they finished,
other teams were worse than them.
Other teams were so poor. Because when you look at how many wins they had, it wasn't as many wins. When you look at, there was a lot of draws, quite a few defeats. So points wise, when you look at it, it wasn't great. It was only because, as you said, the other teams below were that bad. They managed to still hold on to 4th.
Basil, you know what it is, yeah? You know what it is? Even qualifying for the tournament is lovely. The guy won it. He's actually won it. What are we doing here? What are we actually doing here? Roberto Di Matteo is a more of a
Exactly.
And that's because you're talking about a guy who won it and a guy who, when he was there, got knocked out the group stages.
This is why, you know, like, because obviously the last couple of tournaments, we talk about Southgate, how he's negative and all this and that. But you see, when you get to the final, and imagine Tuchel wins it, yeah, he gets to a World Cup or he wins the World Cup, whatever. Do you think any of these people are going to go, oh, you know what, I was wrong? Not one of them.
Hold on. Theo, just in that, because also it reminds me of also what Dean Ashton said in that interview, which was egregious. So then apart from the fact he said, oh, Lampard's not egregious, he then said, oh, then Pep picked a weird lineup in the final to kind of like rubbish
in the Champions League.
In the Champions League final, he said, "Oh, and also,
I'm not having that.
I'm not having that. A strange lineup." I'm like, Pep picked a decent lineup. Let's not. Tuchel just outsmarted.
He didn't play the DM. He's basically going off the DM.
Didn't play a DM. One player, come on.
They spend time on socials, in media, on radio, on TV, talking about how Pep and his team have so much depth and if they lose 1 or 2 players, it doesn't matter because there's so much quality and abundance.
The narrative doesn't fit that though, coach.
Man, shut up, man.
I couldn't. That one. That's the one where I just wanted to like go to the studio and just pull him out because I had
like lock off the mic. What are you doing?
Because the things that it's one thing saying that, but then I'm like, well, look at how Tuchel set up. Look at the tactics he employed. He outdone Pep. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. He outdone him.
And you know what? I reckon the players in that England team now would actually suit Tuchel.
100%.
Absolutely.
They would absolutely. He could tweak it. He likes to sometimes go to a back five. He likes to play a back 4-2-3-1. He loves it. He's got the players there. He's worked with some of them before. You think about some of the players even at Bayern Munich and Chelsea as well.
I give an example. Even last season, right, when you look at Tuchel, like, and this is what people don't appreciate: his tactics and his setup and his understanding. When they played Arsenal in that second leg of the Champions League, as much as Arsenal didn't play well, but look at how the tactics he used to nullify Arsenal, because that's exactly what he did. Even in the Madrid match, in that second leg, they were very lucky to go out because there was moments of brilliance that caused Madrid to win. But tactically, he caused Madrid so much problems. He set up well to nullify them and to hurt them in the transitions when they can. And that's not down to luck. That's down to tactics.
Tactical.
Ultimately, it was just 2 moments of brilliance or just 2 moments in the final minutes of the game that kind of allowed Madrid to walk away a victory.
I agree with that.
And people don't, and that's what I'm saying. As I said, I appreciate the fact Tuchel's improved as years gone by. Right, I don't think, as I said, I started on and said I think it's a very good manager. Maybe not as high. I don't probably rate him as highly as others, but I can still appreciate how good of a coach and a tactician he is when you actually watch what he does. And that for me is where I hate what the narrative of what these journalists and these, I don't even want to call them pundits because like the likes of Danny Mills. Well, exactly, because it's just such disrespect on this guy's CV and what he's achieved, which is one thing you should not do. You can maybe not like certain things about him, maybe criticize something, but you can't then go into a whole disrespecting him in terms of, oh, this appointment is rubbish, as though he hasn't achieved anything in the game.
It's because he's German. Let's address that.
100%. That's the rule.
It's because he's a German manager and he's actually got a decent CV, and people will say things like, oh, we've overlooked this person because they're English. No, we've overlooked them because they haven't got the qualities to do the job. They ain't got the capabilities. That's what it comes down to. He's German, and that's it.
We're not even at war anymore, man.
Exactly. Do these people not want to win things?
Bro, don't act as if you don't go to Berlin and Munich and them, man.
Exactly,
Shut
innit?
up, man.
Like you're not drinking German beer right now. Someone's probably drinking a German pint.
Oktoberfest, you go in there to get rowdy with them. And you're watching them in your league and you're players playing their league. You're bigging up Will Still for doing it in Germany. Give me man.
It's all this nostalgia,
people,
history, all of that. It's because he's German. That's what it comes down to. And maybe the Chelsea connection for a lot of other non-Chelsea fans as well. I think that plays a part in it, essentially. And look, Tuchel's football isn't always attractive and amazing. But if it gets you the result, it gets you the result. And that's it. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, I remember watching some of his games and they were hard to watch. Hard. Yeah. 2 things though. He's got totally different caliber of players that he's working with now.
Yeah.
And he's had time to reflect on that. And like you said, Basil, he's changed his approach when he was at Bayern Munich. So I'm all for it now. He's here now, isn't it? So I don't know how people can complain about it. He's here. What are you going to do? Not watch him, not support them. If you don't want to support them, don't support them. It's simple. What are we doing?
Funny enough, even when you go back to the football, right? These were the same people that when England were playing the Euros and were playing so badly and got to the final, when it got to that final, they said, you know what? May not have been pretty, but as long as you win it, no one cares.
Exactly.
No one cares.
Now it's a problem.
You understand?
Okay. I'll ask them the same question in the World Cup if the finals are there and Tuchel's there leading out the team and everyone still thinks, oh, it's a German manager. What are we going to say then? Madness. Madness. Why do you think he's going to do? Because I don't think he's taking a job easy till next year anyway. So
it doesn't start till January.
Yeah. So how do you think? I think it's 18 months. Obviously, you'll have the whole year to assess players. You can go and look at other players that you might want to bring in. You'd assume Harry Kane will make that World Cup squad. How do you think he'll do?
It's tough, because international football about those fine margins and those fine details. I think he'll do well. I think he'll get results because he has the players. Whether he'll win something is difficult because there's still difficult nations out there, and it's all about those fine margins. I mean, France are there, even though I think France are probably going to go through a little transition now.
Spain.
Yeah, Spain are still there. Argentina are still playing well.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Can't rule out Portugal.
can't rule out Portugal. There you go. Portugal are coming. And then secondly, in a year and a half, you don't even know the players who are going to come up. So there may be surprise nations. Because at the moment, people look at the nations we know now. In the next year and a half, players may start emerging, and then you may have these new nations who come up.
Georgia.
Like,
Look at Georgia in the Euros.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It's Euro. There you go. You come and say they're a bit of a threat. So there's no guarantees. England definitely have the players. I think he'll do well qualifying. I think he'll do well. Maybe no. I think he'll do better in tournaments approach wise than Gareth personally. Whether he'll win something, I don't know. It's tough.
What do you reckon, Kojo?
I think he's going to do well. My thing is, because when he's gone to what's it called, Dortmund and PSG in the past, he's not really changed formation, which is not a bad thing. He wants to sort of give you continuity of what you've been used to. This is what we can continue with, but maybe the approach will be different. Maybe a bit more conservative, maybe a bit more attacking. Who knows? I think he just needs to be chesty and not be afraid to pick a lineup and the team that provides the right balance. Because
I think he's that type of manager. I don't think he'll give a damn.
He won't.
Oh, he won't. That's what I'm saying. I don't want him to let anyone sort of give an outside influence.
Can't see that. I can't
politics
see that
guys. And hopefully he doesn't let it happen, because one of England's biggest issues in the last 2-3 months is when they pick a team, they're trying to shoehorn certain players into positions because of their quality rather than the balance.
That's ultimately what got him sacked from Chelsea, Because he was meant to be playing certain players and he didn't want to play them, and then obviously it's a bigger story than that. But he's a stubborn coach.
I'll say this, guys, controversially. I don't think Foden should be anywhere in that.
No, we said that. We said that the other day.
Because the issue is, right, and I've always said this. And I remember Del Boss came out and he said it earlier. Said, "Oh, Madrid fans wanted Alonso to play. Barcelona wanted Busquets to play. In the end, it was Busquets who played. That Spain squad was ridiculous. They had Fabregas, David Silva, Xabi Alonso, Santi Cazorla, and look at that three was. It was Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, because it was the best lineup. And like that, for me, it's like Foden does well for. I wouldn't even say does. He dips in and out of periods for City, because even last season he never had a full great season as much as he
still managed to pick up got player of the season though.
But the thing is, he didn't start well. He started okay and kind of picked up in the back end. Yeah. And my thing is this: I would say this: just because you perform well for your club doesn't mean it translates to international football
at all.
And for me, I've rarely seen a good Foden game in international football. As much as even Scholes said he's the most talented player England had, blah blah blah, and all of this,
I don't see it.
He doesn't show it for England, which is why he doesn't have that many caps, doesn't have that many goals, doesn't have that many assists, because he doesn't perform well. And sometimes you have to make those decisions. For me, he's a squad player at best.
That's the thing, though. I think there's a misunderstanding about what he brings to the team, and I think that's why when he's being shown, I don't understand it, because he's not a chief creator. He's a lot more of a close control type space. He's sort of 1-2 type player. So if you wanted to play in a number 10 in that kind of role where you can maybe link up with Kane and have, I don't know, Saka.
You need the City system. You need the City system set up for that.
And he ain't gonna
do that.
But that's the point I'm making. But obviously, with Haaland can do that, but Haaland's a lot more of a just power run type. At least if he's doing that with maybe when it was Julian Alvarez, he had someone like quick like Doku on that side, but Silva knew how to get into those spaces as well. Whereas with England, if you're playing Saka and then or Palmer and you're playing Greenish or Bowen or Rashford or Gordon or whoever else you want to pick, they're all different types of players, and he's not used to playing different types of
He's not
players
adaptable.
like that.
He's not.
Exactly. Because unfortunately, when you play for City, which is what Jack Grealish has fallen victim to, even though his numbers were not like massively incredible at Villa, at least when he played with different type of players and different managers, different systems. At City, is you play this way and no other way. Look at Doku now. Doku don't take on players as much as he used to. He used to be very just
But Kojo, it happens to every winger that goes to City.
Exactly. Oh, no, that's my point. That's my point. So when he's come to England now, and if you're trying to shoehorn him into number 10, it's not working. You play Bellingham 9 or 8, and you don't know what to do with them. You put him on the left side, he doesn't know what to do with there. If he's upsetting the balance, like you just said, just don't play him. To be honest,
I know we're diverting a bit. I would also say this, right, Coach? Even Bellingham's going to have a problem at some point.
Yeah, no,
because in the position he plays, right, you're talking about potentially that could be a Palmer.
I'll give you a round of applause. I've been saying this all the
time. He shouldn't be playing that position. Bellingham should be in as part of a team.
Yeah, but it depends on if he wants to do. It depends on if he's gonna.
I don't think he fits in the squad.
What he needs there.
I don't think he fits in the squad. You know, I've been saying this for time. I think we're shoehorning him, playing him as a false nine.
Yeah, same. I think he's being shoehorned. I think.
Oh yeah, he's being shoehorned. But
I think he's in danger.
It's stupid shoehorning. Playing him as a number 9 was ridiculous.
But even playing him in the midfield, I don't think he. Is he beneficial?
Declan Rice would be in there, of course. Who would you put in there if you had to choose your 11? You got midfielders to pick from. Who would you put next to him? That's the question.
We've got 60 seconds, so
that's the question. But that's what I'm saying. Right now, if you're going to play him, he has to play number 8 because if you want to translate the form that he gets at his club, he's not playing.
That goes back to Basil's point. Just because he's doing it for club doesn't mean he'll be able to do that for country as well.
Exactly. But if he's trying to replicate that, you got to get as close to his position rather than saying, "Oh, you know, you're scoring goals for Madrid. We're put it as a false 9." It don't work. They did it 5 times.
Which is where it goes back to what Theo was saying. Tuchel potentially could be the perfect appointment for them because then you have a manager who doesn't buy into what the outside noise wants or doesn't buy into, I need to play certain players. Because look at in that whole Euros, look at the nonsense we're hearing from all the pundits. This guy has to play, that guy has to play, and how that was creating unnecessary conversations. I like the fact Tuchel's just going to say, this is my team. If you have a problem, debate it with yourselves.
Yeah.
Don't come here.
They can't question him like they question Southgate. I'm telling you from now, because he'll just say it is what it is. What? And he'll just stare at it. That's how he is. That's how he is. But we need to continue this conversation. I'm sure we will.
100%.
We will, because it's definitely. I'm sure things will spill out over the next 48 hours, so we can hopefully continue this in the next couple of days or so. But Basil, Kojo, thank you very much as always. Appreciate it. Again, as I said, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, hit the link for the audio version of the podcast in the description as well. And until next time, we'll be back very soon. Style of play.